Hey guys. First comment on the stream wins a prize. Go. Let's see who's paying attention. What's going on, guys? It's your man Jay, and we are back. Wins the prize. You're peeking over there. I can hear the extra volume on yours, Anthony.
Yeah, I turned it.
Yeah. We are here Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? It is Tuesday. And yeah, we are live streaming again. It is ready to go. There's a lot I want to discuss right now, and I appreciate everybody stopping by. Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're kicking it with you every week. So, what's going on, everybody? I see a lot of people that are here already. Some people. I'm probably gonna get. We'll get to that. We're gonna talk about the iPhone 13. Anthony, how was your week?
It was pretty good. Got back to work and busy at work for the holiday, and really not a whole heck of a lot going on besides that. So good. Yeah. Good. School starting. Wife's back to work, and so yeah, it's good to be here.
Kicking the wife out, I see. What is up, folks? I had a spectacular week. I have some great news, and I have some great news. For those that are in the know, I'm officially a G now. So if you know what that means, you'll look for that content soon. But yes, we are going to be talking about the Apple event and the new iPhones and the normal spiel that what we do. So it's just conversation. It is. Oh, I want to say this also. I am now officially doing a triple stream. So this stream is being streamed on Anthony's account, iProject 13. It's being streamed on my Twitter. It's also being streamed on my YouTube. So you can watch this in several different places, and you'll know who's saying what because you'll see paired next to their name. More than likely, if you guys can see that, I can see it. I can see where people are commenting from. And the people who are commenting from Anthony's account or Anthony's live stream, you'll see the word paired next to them. If you can see that, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can. You might not be able to see it. Technically, T knows what that is. He knows I'm officially a G. So you guys might not be able to see it, but the good part is if you follow my Project 13 and you wanted to catch him and you weren't subbed on my channel and you didn't know he was streaming because you saw him doing the re-uploads, well, now it is official. I've allowed him to stream this stream simultaneously on his account. So this is great. Sister Harris in the house. Technically T, Han Solo. I see you. All right. So there's people coming in. Perry Freeman. Hey, what's going on, Perry? I see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Yes, I am a G, and I will show that later on. But man, hey, before we get going on this iPhone stuff, thank you to everybody who is coming in to the streams on Tuesdays. Really appreciate you guys. Just hanging with us, man. Just hanging with us is a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm in every place. I'm commenting on his stream, my stream. So it's fun to be able to conversate like this on Tuesdays at a decent hour and still have the rest of your data to go hang out and take care of business. But before we get going on this iPhone talk, I got to ask, Anthony, what is your next phone?
That's a great question because I'm debating on the iPhone 13. I'm not for sure moving on that. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I'm sort of taking it low and slow. I don't really have anything that I'm, I say that, Jay, my history. I say that, and the next, I'm doing an unboxing, right?
We're all like that. We're all hypocrites.
But honestly, at this point, I honestly do not know. I do not know.
My next phone is the Pixel 6 lineup. That is my next phone. That is the next purchase that I plan on making. Whether Google sends me that or not, I'm already saving money to try to get the Pixel 6 or the Pixel 6 Pro. Those are the ones that are exciting to me right now. They already sent us the Pixel 5a, 5G, which is just ridiculous. Love this device. We're going to talk about the Z Flip. We're going to talk about the Z Fold 3 if you want to. Tech loving mom, she made it. She made it.
Yep. So let me go back and answer that again. Yeah, long term, long term, I am looking at definitely the Google Pixel 6.
Oh yeah.
But I thought the question was meant as if it like sometime here soon. So as of right now, like the next week or two, I don't have anything on the scope. But yeah, down the road, the Pixel 6 is definitely going to be here, regardless.
Oh yeah.
Regardless.
It's gonna be a killer device.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a killer device. Hands
I'm
down.
on it. I'm on
yes,
it.
I'm eating kettle corn and drinking water. So yes, I'm eating kettle corn and drinking water. What's going on? MeTech says that's a hard question at this point. There's so many choices, and I absolutely agree. That's going to really come down to your budget, not the terminology budget phone, but what you want to spend on your next device. Wow, the iPhone 13. All right, the iPhone. I already have a lot of my iPhone 13 gear in. So someone asked, which model of the iPhone do I plan on getting? Well, you guys know, where's my... This by far is one of the best iPhones I think that I've ever purchased. Is the iPhone 12. And, I was fortunate enough to grab the purple color. Tech loving mama, purple. I was fortunate enough to grab this purple one. Well, I didn't really purchase this, I guess I should say. I got it for free as long as I agreed to bill credits. And I totally did. So I think it's totally worth it. Nothing on my bill, just a free phone every month. So this iPhone 12, even though I already bought I bought the white, I bought the Pro. I pretty much sold all of my other iPhones and kept this one. I mean, I got it free. It makes sense. Why would I spend all that money? Even though I lost a little bit on the resale, but the iPhones hold pretty good value. So I sold my iPhone 12 Pro Max and the iPhone Mini and my white iPhone 12, and then I jumped to this one. I went ahead and jumped on this one since it was free, but it makes sense for me. Perfect sense. Why hold on to all that money when I can just sell it, pocket it, and get the same phone? Why not? So the iPhone 12, I do not plan on trading it in this year. I really like this phone. You still have your 12 Pro Max, right?
No, just recently sold it.
Oh yeah, I saw this on Twitter. Yeah, you sold it on Swapper. So for me, I don't plan on getting rid of my iPhone 12 at this point. Not because I got it for free with bill credits. I just like the phone. It's a good size. I got a nice bulky case on it, and it's still not too big. And I like the color. So I don't know what they're going to do for colors. They did just start posting the event. I'm probably going to be the minority, a part of the minority when I say this, but I really don't care. What's so exciting about the Apple event at this point? You can't even go. It's just, I see people posting, "Ooh, got my invite." Like, are they getting an invite and then Apple sending them a phone, or what's the excitement behind that? I don't get it, because there's virtual events. I mean, I don't really understand the excitement behind getting an invite. No shade to those people, but hey, I'm happy for you if that excites you. Always happy for people. Never want to be a killjoy to people, but I don't understand the excitement behind going to an event virtually, because I've done, virtual events. So. The virtual event thing for Apple, I kind of hope that it stays this way. I'm content now with watching virtual events. What about you? I'm content. I like it this way.
I usually watch the replay on those type of events. I don't really get into it, and I've tried to sit and watch a full event, and I just can't do it. I just you're waiting. Typically what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
In those events, and half of the stuff that they're talking about and they put out there is just nothing that I really care about.
It's 20% faster than last year. Okay, big deal. It's the same thing.
I'd rather just watch a replay video on it in 10 minutes. Here's the event in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's my type of video right there.
Oh yeah, I like it because I can skip through. I used to jump up and be ready to watch it live so I could be the first one to talk about it, but that's play out. They don't bring the devices out right away. I still got to buy it. So what I've learned to just give myself some excitement. So a lot of OGs coming in. Uno Nice, I see you. Big John Tech Reviews, you are here. Yes, sir. I appreciate it. What do you mean when you say build? Okay, here, let's answer this question. Compton's Comics says, Jay, what do you mean when you say bill credits, and how does that program work? Is it on a certain carrier? No. So sometimes I got this phone right here. So I got this iPhone 12 through bill credits through T-Mobile. In any carrier, all carriers do this pretty much. At the time that I got this, I had just purchased, maybe a couple of months before that, I had purchased the Mini, the White 12, and my Graphite Pro Max. And I paid, I bought unlike, so I paid for the devices at full cost. And then T-Mobile had a Mother's Day sale where all you had to do is put this on EIP, like agree to pay monthly, and they will credit you every month for the payment. And so that is how they're doing it. They're crediting me 30 some odd dollars, so it's $0 to me. That is how that promo worked. There are different like right now on T-Mobile, you can actually get this phone for free as well. You just have to be on, I think, one of their newer plans, and then put it on EIP, and they give it to you. At least they were doing that over the weekend. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they're giving it to you. You just have to accept bill credits, and bill credits are just that, a bill credit. They charge you the $35 or whatever it's supposed to be monthly, and then they give you a credit to offset that, so it's $0. So my bill is super low for 4 phones with unlimited everything. It's like $75. That's how much my bill is, $75 for unlimited talk, text, and data on 4 lines on T-Mobile. Obviously, I've been with them for 26 years or whatever. So
that's great.
Yeah.
$75. Wow.
I'm on a military plan too. I'm a veteran, so I'm on a military plan. So
right. Well, that's
and that's no taxes, no nothing. So but that is how bill credits work. That is how bill credits work. They charge you for the device, and then they turn around and give you a credit to offset that, so your bill does not change. Those are the only times that I agree to do, at least on my account. I'm not against financing phones anymore. If you guys know, I used to heavily speak against that. But reality is, everybody should be able to experience something good. You know what I mean? Like, everybody should be able to experience something good. And if you have to finance it, I'm not going to be a judgmental person and say, oh, you're supposed to live unlocked, or you can't afford this. I'm done disrespecting people like that and talking like that. You stay within your realm of payments, and that's what you do. And that's just how it is. So the financing a phone, if that's what you need to do to get the latest tech, I'll support you any way you want me to. As long as you can afford to make the monthly payment, that's on you. I actually have 2 or 3 phones on my account that are free. I took the free phone offers, like trade in any phone. I took the Nord N200. I traded in a flip phone. I took the T-Mobile Rebel 5G, traded in an old flip phone, and I got all 3 of those phones were on my account absolutely free. No ifs, ands, or buts. They just credit you every month, and I don't plan on leaving T-Mobile. So, I mean, I have AT&T and Verizon too, but I don't plan on leaving T-Mobile. That's my primary. Oh, Google Fi is my secondary carrier. So I've been with Google Fi for 6 years, I think, or something like that. And that bill is like $20 a month or $30 a month, something like that, because I like Google Fi for when I travel. But nonetheless, bill credits, I can get behind them. I'll get behind them because that is where some people are. And when the iPhone 13 comes out, there are going to be a lot of people who finance the phone on their account. And you know what? Go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. I can't be shallow like that anymore and small-minded by saying, bill credits are people can't afford them and stuff. I never directly said that, but I guess that's what I was implying at some point years ago. And I just wanted to rectify that by saying, hey, you go for it. And not because I'm choosing to do it, but I saw the benefits of people financing it. Why do like us and pay $1,000 up front when you can just put it on your bill, especially if you don't plan on leaving your carrier?
Right. No, I agree with you, Jay. Now, I would say, like you said just a few minutes ago, hopefully that when you're buying something like that monthly, that you are able to make those payments. So you're not putting yourself in a situation where you're financially hurting yourself. So, hopefully you're making, and again, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
But you would hope that that's at least something that you go through and think about that process. We got my wife's Flip 3, traded in her Note 10, and got that $500 off.
Right.
And, and so we got bill credits, but my wife only uses the device every couple years. So that's perfect for us. And every month they'll be paying us like $8 or $9 a month for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and it comes off your bill. So your bill decreases a little, which is really nice. So nice. Great.
Well, we've got some more questions here. We've got, how do you feel about the new iPad mini and Apple Watch? Well, honestly, I haven't seen them yet. Don't even know what you're talking about because the event isn't here yet. I don't follow Apple's news like that anymore, really. I just wait until the events come because I know what I'm getting ready to see, honestly, and we all should. We should be able to know what's coming from Apple. They're going to tell us how it's 20% faster than last year. They're going to tell us they tweak the design when it actually looks the same. They're going to add a few things on the software, and that's going to be it. That's pretty much it. That's all they're. I mean, I don't see what else they're going to be talking about, but that's just me. That's the way I feel about their events, because that's how they always are. They talk about what their devices are faster than the other ones, blah, blah, blah. Do I still buy Xiaomi devices? Yes, I do. But anyway, iPhone 13, which model do you plan on getting? Everyone in the live stream and everybody watching the replay, and Anthony, let's answer this live right now. Which model do you plan on getting?
If I get one, it's going to be the Pro.
Oh, because you're going to get the Pro.
Yeah, if I decide I'm going to pick one up, I'm going to get the Pro, and I'm most likely not going to be trading in a device like you just said. I'm most likely just going to buy it straight out, because you know me, I'll have it around for a few months. It'll sit there again, and then it'll be gone.
Yeah. I've been holding on to my devices lately. Like for my Samsung purchases, no trade-in, sir. I bit the bullet. No trade-ins.
I bit the bullet as well.
Yeah, I'm tired of giving up my good phones for when they're still good. I plan on holding on to my iPhone 12. They're gonna have. Okay, listen. Let me say this. I'll go on record and say that the iPhone 13 is going to have to be spectacular for me to give up this iPhone 12. And it's also going to have to be something completely different for me to give it up for the iPhone 12. Because I would essentially be trading it in for the iPhone 12 and paying the difference. But it's going to have to be spectacular to get me to give up my purple iPhone 12. Period. This is going to be fantastic. And I don't foresee that happening. So I
don't see anything innovative coming our way besides the cameras are supposed to be a little bit bigger. So, I mean, come on now. On the iPhone 12 Pro Max, whatever, you got cameras there that are just superior. They're great for what they are as a solo device for each of those 12s. You know, if you're going to complain, I don't know what you're complaining about, man. Yeah. So, you know, unless it's innovative, I'm probably going to go out and because, you know, the price is going to drop a little bit. I'll probably pick me up a smaller iPhone 12 too, as well.
Yeah, the 12 is like the perfect size to me. I put a tempered glass on here, got a nice case on here to match it, and I'm totally happy with this product. I've been using it a lot to do a lot of videos on my channel, and I wonder if people even notice. I don't think they notice, even though I have all this high-powered equipment. It's just faster to shoot on a phone sometimes if the cameras are good. I've also been using the Z Flip for a lot of videos. So we'll talk about that later on. But Apple, so I plan on getting the iPhone 13, which will be equivalent to this device, this size. I plan on doing that. I don't plan on going any higher than that. Normally, I'll pick up the wife. She wants the biggest version in a 512 gig or 1 terabyte, whatever's offered in the highest memory. That's what she normally wants. So we'll go that route and get that for her. And that's always a hefty bill every year, but it's a one-time deal, and she keeps phones forever. She doesn't do trade-ins and stuff like that like we do. She keeps the devices. So right now, she loves her iPhone 12 Pro Max, and she loves the S21 Ultra, and she's also got an iPhone Mini in purple as well. There's just a bunch of phones that she likes to rotate in between, and I do it too. But I just feel like if it's a one-time deal, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. You know, if that's what you want, whatever. If they come out with a 1 terabyte iPhone 12 or iPhone 13 Pro Max or something like that, I'll probably end up getting it because that's what she's gonna want. So other than that, I'm cool with just 64 gigs on a small version. But I'm really hoping. Let's talk about specs now on the new iPhones, right? What is something that should be a standard for the iPhone 13 models?
Well, honestly, I as far as what you just said, as far as the 64 gigs. I honestly think that even the less expensive is going to have 128. So yeah. I really think it's going to be there. I don't think we're going to see 64, but like you just said, what should be standard? It should be 128.
Exactly.
Should be 128.
So talking about memory size, I totally agree. I think for the pricing that Apple's trying to ask for, even Google has their $500 phones and $400. Their $350 phones are 128 gigs with 6 gigs of RAM.
28.
Yeah, the smallest phone they have is the 4A, and it has 128 gigs of storage. And that should just be a straight up standard across the board. You would think Apple would have done that by now, but I'm tired of calling Apple greedy. I don't even care so much anymore about them as a company. I like their products, and I buy certain products no matter what, like their MacBooks and their computers. I love their products like that. But the iPhones, I end up always keeping it for about a year or so, or I'll keep one of them. I might get them all, and then I end up keeping just one because, as the title says, iPhone 13. I'm only buying because it's a YouTube thing to do, and that's the truth. I won't keep them all. I'll sell whichever ones I don't want, or if I'm within my return period, I'll return it. But I don't like to do returns. I think you guys know that by now. I don't like to do returns, so I would rather just sell it because I know I can sell that iPhone and get 95% of the money back, especially if it's new and I have the box or whatever. I could probably sell it as just open box. But nonetheless, this year, I genuinely plan on just getting one iPhone, and it's going to be the 13, and that's it. And whatever the lowest memory option is, that is it. And the reason being is because of price. Normally, the middle iPhone or the lowest price iPhone is just as good, if not better, than the more expensive one. But some people get caught up into this Pro name and think they're getting so much more, when in reality, they're just getting a bigger screen and a bigger battery. But, my iPhone 12 experience, the battery is really good.
Yeah, really good. And for me, Jay, I selfishly go for the Pro because I want that big display. Is there any reason logically I should have that? No, but it's because it's what I want.
Yeah, right?
That's
respect. So if you want
I'm gonna pay for it, but I already know that outside of that, there's really not a whole lot more going on there than what you just showed us right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So as far as memory options, I think we could all agree that 128 should in fact be the standard. That should be the standard.
Yeah.
Now, I see people, I've been watching your comments, and you guys have been talking about 120 hertz and 90 hertz. On an iPhone, folks, I just don't see the point. I don't see the point. It's the way Apple's system is.
Let me get this really quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll put you back. The way Apple's system is, it's not like Android system. So having 120 hertz and all these different things and 90 hertz, I don't see the point because it's still just a bunch of icons on the screen. So I respect and hear what you're saying about 120 hertz and 90 hertz and all these different things, but I don't see the point on an iPhone. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying at this point in the game, I don't know what's the purpose of Apple doing a 120 hertz display. They would only be doing that just to say that they did it. That's the only reason I could think of. The only reason they would say have 120 hertz or 90 hertz is just to say that they're doing it. And then in turn, other than the standard for memory being 128, I would prefer that, they keep it at 60 hertz just based on current iPhone usage. I mean, I don't think iPhone users even care that real iPhone users, not these tech enthusiasts who harp on specs. Real iPhone users are clueless to the fact that you can have 90 hertz or 120 hertz. They don't care. They're not buying it for that reason. They're buying it because it's the new shiny new iPhone and Apple told them to buy it. That's pretty much what I see when I talk to people who have iPhones. I just like it. Well, why do you like it? I just do. All right, well, end discussion. No problem. If that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. I don't see the purpose of doing 90 hertz and 120 hertz. I don't think it's going to be beneficial to the iPhone at all. I plan on just getting the regular iPhone 13. That's it. Having 120 hertz, and the only time I've seen the difference on that is Android phone, like I said, on the Galaxy, on the OnePlus. It's smooth or whatever, but is it really needed? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, in other standards for the iPhone 13, what is another standard? What should be the standard for screen size? What should be a screen size for standard? And I'm not saying of the different models, they shouldn't make a model. I'm just saying across the board, what's the standard screen size? And I say probably 6 inches. This 6.1 and all this, I think they can get rid of that. And I think they can really go 20 by 9. That's something that I think should be a standard. 20 by 9 should be a standard. I personally like 20 by 9. So with this setup right here, I think they should go 20 by 9 because it's going to make the phone feel a heck of a lot better in the hand. This doesn't feel bad in the hand, but having 20 by 9, I just think that would be so much better. So for me, what's a good screen size? What should be the standard screen size across the board for Apple people? Like people who like iPhones, what should be the standard across the board? I say 6 inches. Now, this is 6.1. So ultimately what I'm saying is stay in this realm and make more of these, which is why they have two models of the same phone, calling one a Pro and one a regular. That doesn't make any sense. But I think 6 inches is probably, they should just focus more. Like, honestly, I think they should, the Max, I don't think it should have like the highest specs. I think the Pro model at 6 inches or 6.1 should be loaded and packed with specs, because this is more realistic in handling for the majority of the world. People still think this is a big phone. I've had people say that this is a very large phone. So a lot of you guys are saying 6.1, 6 inches, 6.3, 6.5. You know, I think that's a good place. 6 inches is a really solid place. Let me add Anthony back here. I know you were back, Anthony.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No. The question is, what's a standard screen size? What do you think is the best screen size for an iPhone at this point? And like ratio, I say 20 by 9 for the ratio, and then 6 inches will be perfect to me.
I'm always going to go big, so I like 6.5. I love the 20 by 9, but I know like Sony has like the what is it, 21 by 9? But yeah, I like a little bit of a wider phone, and I would think 6.5 for me. Now, if you're gonna go, I with the other two smaller, because there's gonna be 3 iPhones, and I think a 5.5, a 6 inch, and a 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be different sizes. I personally just feel like when it comes to the Pro naming, I think that having 2 of the same, it doesn't make any sense. They have a Pro model for the 12, and then they have a regular 12. That just doesn't make any sense. They're ultimately the same phone minus the size, an extra camera, the battery, or whatever. But I think that 6 inches is a good spot. It's and I think they should focus more. They should have a ultra model that's not so big, because the iPhone 12 Pro Max is a ginormous phone. It's heavy. It's a brick in your pocket. Period. The iPhone 12 Pro Max, the bigger ones, are huge in your pocket, man. And if you're working out and you want to put your phone in your pocket, it's going to be huge. It's going to jingle around. It's just too bulky for me for day-to-day tasks. So, which is why I love the Z Flip. It folds in half. Now, the iPhone 13 screen size, hey, people are comfortable with no more than 6.5. But I think the new one is going to be 6.9, right? Isn't there rumors of it being 6.9?
I heard 6.8, but I mean, at this point, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, you're talking about a huge phone. Now, even for me,
for an iPhone, it's huge because it's going to weigh a lot.
Yeah, I think at that point, even for me, that's a little bit, getting up there. I still would say no more than 6.5 for me. But yeah, I think that's a little extreme. So,
legend is here. Sean is here, man. He said, Jay, that man's too big. But you gotta love it, man. Hey, I don't like a real big phone when I don't have to have one.
Let me go back to, because I missed that on the 120 hertz, 90 hertz, 60 hertz.
Go ahead.
Honestly, you guys, the software on an iPhone is really darn smooth. Even at 60 hertz, when you're using an iPhone at 60 hertz, it feels like it's like a 90 hertz display or 120. It's just a feathery in performance with the display. I've not ran into any iPhone that I've had that I think needs to be any higher than 60. But we are in 2021. That's what everybody's going to want for the money that they're paying. They figured, hey, if the Android devices are going to have it and you're going to charge me $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, then you need to have it. But when you really think about that, I don't really feel with some Android devices, you can literally feel that it needs a little bit of that extra. But with an iPhone, you really don't. But if you don't get 120, it's okay. If they give you 90, man, I don't know what you want, but even at 90.
That's what I was saying earlier. I don't see the purpose of putting 120 hertz or 90 hertz on an iPhone at all. The way the UI is set up, I don't get it. I mean, it scrolls left to right instead of up and down, and it's just weird. I don't see the point, but maybe in some gaming or something like that. But iPhones, let's be clear here, game immaculately. With what they have right now, it looks fantastic. So, I don't know what the big deal, and I think it's just people saying, "Oh, you gave it to Android, like you just said, so give it to me too." But the screen, I also would like 20:9, not 21, but not 19:9 anymore. I want 20:9 because it makes it a lot more narrow and easier to manage. That's what I like. So, what about the battery size?
I think at this point, I would love to see nothing less than 38, like 4,000 milliamp.
On the standard across the board model. Like, what's the battery on the iPhone 12? Let me see what the battery is on the iPhone 12. Let me look it up real quick.
I'm gonna look up and see what it was on my.
Because I think that the battery size on these iPhones
on the iPhone 12 Pro, it was 2815 milliamps.
That's what it is on this one too. They're the same phone. So 2815. Apple needs to. Their battery is good, but I just think that minimum on iPhones, on all the iPhones, it should be 3,000. I think someone just said that. Yeah, this should be the minimum on all iPhones, 3,000. No matter what the size of the phone is, no matter what the size of the screen is, these smaller iPhones should have a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. The middle iPhone should have a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. On the big iPhone, though, what should be your standard? What should be the minimum?
Well, I'm looking at that right now. Battery on the.
I think that should be 5,000 on the big one.
Yeah, because
5,000.
So because I'll say this on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, one of the things that I really loved about that device was the battery life. Amazing battery life, amazing, and it has a 3687 milliamp on the 12 Pro Max.
It could be 5,000.
So no less than
they're charging a gang of money and not even putting 5,000 milliamp hour batteries in their device.
So I would say no less than 4,000, 5,000 would be nice, but I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah, but why not though? Why?
I think you're looking again. I think when you look at the chipset that you get in those devices and how feathery smooth. I mean, really, everything pretty much utilizes itself really well. That battery life doesn't take that big of a hit. So I think that's what Apple's
saying that is because it's almost like everybody's accepted the fact that Apple's giving them less and they're willing to pay more. Somebody said it earlier. I think people are just looking for reasons to spend money. Here it is right here. I think it is right here. I think people are just trying to find ways to spend more money. I believe this to be true because why wouldn't iPhone use, just because you're getting good battery, some phones get great battery, but companies on Android still increase the battery size. It's like people are programmed to believe that just because it's working, we don't need to change anything. And that's where I think Apple's situation comes in with their marketing. I think they've truly convinced people that we don't, if you notice in Apple events, they never say, and the battery is 2,400 milliamp. They never say those things. They try to keep you focused on it just works, and you're going to get 10 more hours of battery opposed to the 8 more hours of battery. That's the way they try to sell it to you. That's all marketing. Because if they start kicking out real numbers, their users will start to say, well, man, my buddy has a Galaxy Z92, and his has a 4,600 milliamp hour battery, and he only paid $650 for that phone. I paid $1,750 for mine, and I have a 2,900 battery. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
They need to start bringing it, man. They need to bring it and start telling people the real numbers. That's not just for tech enthusiasts. And I know consumers don't measure their batteries on the milliamps, but reality is this is where Apple gets to skate, and people give them a pass all the time because they're not putting it all on the table. They're not putting it all on the table. they're still misleading consumers and just throwing shade over everything instead of telling them the truth. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. So
Yeah,
your standard for the big iPhone is at least 4,000. I think someone else said that too.
at least 4,000, at
Yeah.
least.
So
Yeah.
Dave says rumor has it
Especially,
it's going to be.
it's especially if they're going to implement a 90 or 120 hertz refresh rate.
Yeah. And knowing them, they won't let you control it. Unlike
Oh
Android, they
no,
probably won't let you control it. They're just going to say, well, we got that. We're going to take care of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what
yeah.
they'll probably do.
Well, and I've been very fortunate with using iPhones to have battery life too pretty well with me. The only phone that I had issues with was the iPhone SE 2020 with that 1821 battery. But like I said in the last live stream, I then had to make that device work for me to enjoy it. And I was able to do that every afternoon. I got off of work, I charged it up. On my days off, if I was in my car, I charged it up. And so I ended up having a good experience with that device. But that device did struggle a bit with battery life, but that's a pretty small battery when you think about it. 1821. I mean, yeah, that's
a
ridiculous.
So
ridiculous.
screen quality, battery, price. We didn't discuss that. We'll get to that though. Now, cameras. The people seem to think that the iPhone has the best cameras ever. I personally don't think so. And it's not that they're bad cameras. I just don't think they have the best, like everyone keeps announcing, because I've put them up against phones, and I don't think they come out on top every time anymore. Which means that Apple's cameras were great at one point, and they were the best for video, and they were the best for certain things. But I feel like now Apple has run out of ideas. So they're trying to get you to buy into a lot of hype now about how their phones don't need this, or they run better than this, and all that other nonsense. But I think Apple's running out of ideas, and I just feel like for cameras, to me, how do you top the current camera system? What do you do? How do you beat your own camera system?
Well, the thing is, I mean, and that you always hear that megapixels, or is megapixels not a major? There's videos where they tell you it's not all about the megapixels, right?
Yeah.
So either you think it is or you think it's not. I don't know. So to me, where we're at with cameras right now on our smartphones, whether it's an iPhone or an Android device, we are in a good spot. I mean, at this point, I don't know really what they could do. They could throw more megapixels, but I don't know. I'm not a camera.
LiDAR and all this talk about how great the cameras are. What's so funny? When Apple shoots these commercials and they show it to people, and this is how they sell the phone, they're not telling you that they're shooting with a gimbal. They're not telling you they're tweaking everything on the device itself to get that footage. They're just not telling you it. They're just not telling you. Oh, so here's a good one right here. 8K. This person says 8K video. Even currently right now, who's shooting in 8K? YouTube can't play 8K unless you have an 8K TV or monitor, and most people don't. So, and shooting in 8K is so pointless because the file size is so big. It's no point in doing it. You can't really see the footage when you try to watch it. I know that this is something that Apple probably will do at some point or another. But to me, it would just be one of those things where they're doing it just because, to say that they did it. What's the purpose of it?
Yeah, it's only something that I would use during the reviewing process just to show you the footage. And after that, I wouldn't use it again. I didn't use it again on the S21 Ultra. I made, I think, 2 videos and I got a lot of views on that. But to be honest with you folks, as soon as I was done with that, I did not ever use it again.
I think they know that. No one uses 8K. I mean, what's the purpose of 8K? Like, consumers definitely do not use 8K. Most consumers still only have a 720p TV at home. They don't have a 4K TV. Some don't even have a 1080p TV. They have 720p because they don't care about it like tech enthusiasts do. They're looking for the best price. 8K is a cool thing to use, but like you said, nobody's using that, man.
Well, and that's just like the on the S21 that Ultra that I had too, that 100 times zoom. I mean, you can only take so many pictures of the moon,
Nobody uses it. Like, nobody uses that stuff. It's just a selling point. It's just a selling point. That's all it is. It's a selling
Hey,
point just to say that you have it. That's it.
oh, I have like 100 pictures of the moon.
Yeah. Or something way across the field. I mean, what are you going to do with those photos? I don't get it.
You're just throwing them in a review during the reviewing process. That's all you're doing.
Pretty much it. I don't even test 8K anymore. No one can really see the footage. You're watching a scaled down version on YouTube, and some people's, if you try to watch an 8K video, it's gonna be like, even if you let it buffer, it's still gonna be, maybe at the ozone level. You know what ozone is.
Breaking.
Some people probably don't know who ozone is, but it might make it to that level. It might make it to that level. But other than that, yeah, man, it's totally not gonna. It's no one's using it.
Yeah,
no one's using it. No one's using 8K footage. Tony, I know you know who ozone is. I know you know who ozone is. We definitely know that. There's no way that you don't know who ozone is. But yeah, I mean, 8K footage, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that people probably will say that they're going to do on the Apple thing, but Apple's not really, they're not going to do any, they're not going to do it.
Again, they're not going to be innovative. Everything's just a progression with them. It's just going to be the same experience with a few little. They may give you a widget or two extra that you can add now to your display.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah,
that's all it is. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
We got your standards on your screen. We got your standards on your. They're catching on now, Turbo. We got your standards on. Let's move forward to whether or not Apple, because the 13s, man, okay, they're gonna bring these out and they're gonna be fine and everything, but let's talk about what some people really want to talk about, which is a folding iPhone or a folding tablet or just whatever folding Apple. That is what some people probably really want to talk about. Man, first, before we move forward, we have to say hi to the haters out there. I think we've got 4 downvotes from 4 haters. Appreciate you coming by, at least on my stream. You don't have any on yours. But I appreciate the 4 haters that stopped by. And any other haters in the future, I appreciate you coming by to show some love. But before you leave, haters, you got to leave a super chat on your way out. So I know that you're here. Okay? All right. Give the haters some love. Let's get
so much for the free gifts, right?
Right.
You ain't get one.
Right.
you ain't get one.
Folding Apple product. Folding Apple product.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. And again, it's gonna be the same software, but it's gonna be cool because
it's true, because Apple's not even taking advantage of iPad software, man. They're not even taking advantage of iPads with the real estate.
It's gonna happen. It may come 2-3 years down the road. But I honestly, Jay, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, me too. If I'm being honest, I would too.
I mean, if you have to be stuck with basically the same experience on an Apple device like an iPhone, you might as well have something that looks different than what the iPhone has looked now for quite some time. So give us something different aesthetically to play with, to at least make it fun. You know what I'm saying? Because the Flip 3 is just one heck of a fun phone. It's a fun phone. It really is. So why not give us a little, if you're not going to give us innovation, which a flip phone for Apple would be innovation, I guess. But
it sure would.
But the experience at least being the same, at least it'd be nice to fold up that device and, just call it good, I guess. But yeah, I don't see them doing it right away. But like you've always said, once they do, everybody's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, have you
Oh,
seen the latest?"
Apple created folding phones. Apple innovated folding phone. Apple ain't innovate jack, man. They didn't innovate jack. They're Apple is actually trying to be the industry leaders, but they're really not. If I'm being honest here, no shade to Apple. I like their products, but they are not industry leaders like people give them credit for. The real industry leaders are Samsung and LG and every other OEM who's actually pushing the boundaries. Apple has just keyed in on people's emotions. I mean, honestly, there's nothing. One of the weakest arguments I've heard people say who use iPhones: "Oh, the shutter speed. I can grab the picture right away with an iPhone, and I use any other phone, and I can't get the picture fast enough." That is the fact that people try to focus on something like that and make it a reason to say something is great says a lot about what they think about what their phones should be doing. It's not about how fast you get the photo; it's if you can get the photo at all. I mean, just because the
Right?
iPhone takes a photo faster than another device doesn't mean that it's taking the best photo. That lies in the hands of Sony, LG, Pixels, so many other Xiaomi, so many other phones take better photos than iPhones. It's incredible that people will go to the extreme to say that but the shutter speed is the best on iPhone. So lame, such a lame argument. I would say. It doesn't bother me that that's how they feel. I understand that shutter speed is important to some people, but that is a weak argument to have to try to put iPhones at the top of the list. I gotta catch this photo real quick, and I couldn't get it because I wasn't using my iPhone. Oh, here's T. Shutter speed is a thing, though. Now, if you don't know, T is one of those people who are big on shutter speed. And, hey, he has a reason that he needs to get the photo. I don't put his business out there, but I know why he wants to get those photos because I used to be like that too. There's a reason I wanted to grab those photos, and he's where I was years ago. But T's comment says, Jay, shutter speed is the thing. I never have an issue with Google and iPhones. But with Samsung, you're missing the shot without a doubt. So, in my experience, I don't miss shots. Well, I don't really have anything to take a picture of anymore. He's enjoying the. No, I mean, I don't have to try to reach for the fast photos anymore because they're moving a lot slower. So he's at a place where he's really enjoying his life. I'm not here to talk about his personal life, but I know exactly why he wants those quick shots. And man, I miss him too. You know what I'm saying? I guess I am kind of there with the little one, the grandkids, but he's at a place where it's important to him to try to get the shot as fast as possible. And it's not like, you know, it's a bad argument to have, but if everybody, some people think shutter speed is a thing. I don't think it's a thing. If I miss the shot, I'm not gonna like if I miss the shot with a phone. I don't think I'm really thinking about the OEM who made the phone or whatever. I think it's more like, shoot, I missed that shot. Get it next time. That's how I feel about it. But there are moments when people genuinely feel like I have to get this shot. He's not the only one. He's always talked about shutter speed. I've seen him talk about shutter speed 1,000 times. But ultimately, some phones take photos faster than other phones. But like I just said, that doesn't mean they're getting the best photos. It's not happening.
Right.
Not happening.
And
He'll be.
again, and I think,
Look at his next comment. This is amazing. Man, you're supposed to be up here streaming with me, T. You're supposed to be up here streaming with me and Anthony, okay? Because your comments are coming in right on cue. I was just getting ready to say this, and look, he said it right here. He said, now, no iPhones are the best picks, but the shutter speed is legit on an iPhone. He said it right there. So, boom, there it is. You know, he's coming in on cue perfectly. He's coming in on cue perfectly. But there are people out there that are always trying to imply that the iPhones have the best cameras and they have the best shutter speed and blah, blah, blah. It is just not true. It is just not true. Way to follow along, T. Your comments are coming in right on point. Tekla Mama says, I never had a shutter speed issue or enough to truly bother me. And she's saying this because she's a Samsung person, if you don't know. And if she catches a family milestone. She said, I've been using Samsung since the S3. And I hadn't even finished her comment, but I can tell you, I told you she was a Samsung person. And she's able to cope with it very well. And does this shutter speed thing come down to each person?
Well,
Does it really?
sure. I think it just comes down to an individual, and I think it's just there's a group. I don't think the majority, we mentioned that a lot. The majority really are that concerned about that. I think that, for like my wife, when she takes a picture and she doesn't get it right, she's like, okay, I'll just wait till the next time. She doesn't go, oh my gosh, I got to get rid of this smartphone.
But to be fair, your wife is not a tech enthusiast. She's just a regular consumer.
But she takes a lot of pictures, and she's not completely engrossed like I may be, but like our new puppy, she loves taking pictures of our new puppy. Well, he's moving around a lot. She goes, oh, I missed that one, and then she'll wait again and get it again. So it doesn't freak her out and want to return the device because it doesn't have the quickest shutter speed. But I understand there are some out there who, for whatever reason, want that. But I don't think it's the larger majority. I think it's a smaller majority.
Yeah. This right here, this person here says shutter speeds are really good when you're trying to take photography of your children that don't want to sit still. Of course, you're going to want to have, and this is a huge thing. This is huge. What's going on, Ray? I see you guys. It is huge when you're taking a picture of your child or something like that, and you want them to sit still. But I would say at that point, now I could be totally crazy here. I could be totally crazy, but how about you just shoot a video? Back in my time, we used to get the old camera. We had 35 millimeter. You remember the camera? Remember those cameras? Yeah, and it wasn't about sitting still. But I would say if you're current day and you want stuff of your children, you can take a video and then you can go to post and edit that video and pull out photos. Am I the only one who knew this? I know I'm not. I'm not a professional videographer or photographer, but you can grab photos from your video. If you can't get the right photo, take a video, head over to your expensive computer, because I know you have one. People who are concerned about shutter speed normally have some very expensive equipment to go along with that. So take that video, head over to your very expensive computer, pull out photos and post. Just break it all the way down frame for frame and pull out some photos. Now, somebody's going to say, well, I don't want to do that. Okay. But I wouldn't just throw something out there without giving you some resolution.
Okay.
Resolution.
Or you can do it the way I do it, which is really janky.
Screenshot.
I shoot video and I take screenshots.
I knew you were going to say that. I do that too. Maybe it's
and you know what? Video quality is so darn good on these phones that those screenshots, I can post them and you're not going to know whether it's a screenshot or a photo.
Exactly. That is exactly.
I do it all the time, man.
People today won't just take a video. If you want to get the shot, I understand you're paying a lot of money for these devices. And especially iPhone people, if you're spending a lot of money on these phones, you should be able to get that good shot. But I've never really had a problem with my Samsung phones with the shutter speed. I guess because I'm not looking for that. See, the thing about the shutter speed thing is once you start looking for that, you'll never be able to deprogram yourself or reprogram yourself to forget about it. You're going to always take a photo and you're going to always be looking for that to go wrong instead of all the things that you can pull out of the positive, what can go right. There's so many reasons why you can take a good photo other than it being a poor shutter speed.
My wife and I were at the beach and wanted this couple to take a picture of us. And I said, hey, do you mind taking a picture of us? And they said, no problem. But I said, but instead of actually taking a picture, just hit record. Yep. And the guy looked at me kind of crazy and said, you want me to shoot a video? I said, yeah, because I'm going to pull the photos off of their screenshot. And you know what he said to me? I never thought of that.
Yes. Jay Gibbs does it. Some people just don't want to do it. Or they don't know that they can do it. If you got a really high powered camera for video, folks, those are photos too. You just take it over in post, break it all the way down frame for frame, grab whatever photos you want. It is a proven fact that people do this.
Yep.
It is. That's just how it goes. So we've tackled a lot of things about the iPhone. It's just, now people are like, I do it all the time. Yeah, see, some people just don't know to do that. You can pull photos from any video. The source code is there. Or you can just, if you don't know how to do it that way, you really just put it in post and go. The easiest way to explain it is go frame for frame. And you can pull out any photo you want. You can even get some better photos if you don't want to pull them out or do screenshots. You pull them right off of your video. So the iPhone 13, no doubt, will actually, let me show you something. I'm glad I thought about it. I put up a poll on Twitter and I put up a poll on YouTube. And it was asking people, are you interested in the new iPhones? Now, this is nothing official or anything like that. It's just a matter of, hey, I put this up here and I want to know your thoughts. And here's what people think as of right now. Now, I run this poll. I've been running this poll for it's been just one day, I think now. I'm going to show you the poll results on both of the YouTube and Twitter. So I'm pulling them up right now, and then I'm going to share my screen because I want you to see how people feel. And the reason I think, at least this is how my followers feel. The people who follow me, this is what they feel at the moment. All right, so let me share my first screen here. And I want you to look at the votes, and I want you to look at the percentage. And it is so strange how close they are. So let's share my screen here. This is going to blow your mind. All right, it's going to blow your mind. So let me see. Share screen. Right here. Share tab. But YouTube, is it this one? I think it's this one. Yes, it's this one. So now I'm going to share this screen, and here are the results so far these are the results so far for the poll. This is YouTube. Now, if we look at this, the votes are just over. It's only been going for one day, and I posted it on Twitter for 7 days. So you look at this percentage here. You look at this, and you see 1,100 plus votes, right? 1,100 votes plus. You see 19% versus 81%. People are not interested in this. Apparently, the people that follow me are not really interested, period. They're not interested in the iPhone. Yeah. That's YouTube. And I see, I'm going to go back to T's comment in just a second. And Trent. Trent, man, when did you get in here, Trent? I didn't see you, man. So right now, it appears that people are just not interested in the iPhone, the people who follow me. And listen, to be clear, I buy the iPhones. It doesn't matter. If Apple sent me the iPhone, I still will review it, but they don't. They only send them to certain people. And so personally, I buy the iPhones every year. BW1, I see you here finally coming through. I appreciate it. Now let's look at the Twitter tab. Now remember this number right here. 19% said yes, 81% said no. So let's go ahead and add on the Twitter tab. And we're going to now show you what Twitter. So remember, YouTube is about 19 to 81. Check out Twitter. This is how they feel. This one has 114 votes, and the percentages are identical. Twitter just breaks it down a little different. 19.3 versus 80.7. So these are absolutely the same numbers. Now, it's not possible that the same people, there's a possibility that the same people voted on the same poll. However, there's 1,100 plus votes on YouTube opposed to the 114 votes on Twitter. You see what I'm saying? So these odds are probably correct. They're probably good. These are probably realistic odds. So that's why I posed the question initially, are you even interested genuinely in the iPhone? I don't think people are anymore. I think people are keeping their iPhones longer because they're just working. Apple's analogy of it just works is starting to backfire on them. What do you think? I think it's starting to backfire on them. What do you think?
Yeah, I voted on there. I voted on there, and I'm in that high percentage.
It doesn't mean you're not going to buy it. It just means you're not genuinely interested in it
Well,
because you know what you're going to see.
but
You know what you're going to get.
because I sure I want to have it, I want to use it, I want to compare it, but once I get past that stage, I'm sorry, folks, I'm pretty much that's it.
Right.
That's
So I want to
it.
go back here to because there's some comments that came in about the pulling the photos off. Trent says, my last video thumbnail, it was just a still that was captured from the video in the post. That's all it was. And then T says here he every one of his thumbnails is a snapshot from his video from his A7S3, unless it's a product shot. And that is how people really should be getting these great photos. This is the best way to do it. You can get some high quality photos by pulling them from your video. So that's not a resolution to phones that have slower shutter speeds. But the fact of the matter is, these people are already know how to do this and they're doing it. But they still wanted to voice, hey, look, I still don't like this slow shutter speed on whatever said device. But in any event, I don't really care anyway, because for my videos, I'm doing this.
Well, I mean, you have these high tech devices that give you shortcuts in a way to get the job done. And if that's how you have to get the job done, then that's how you get it done.
Yeah. I think a lot of consumers, again, Apple's thing about it just works is really biting them in the butt, I think, because numbers sometimes on a poll like this. Now let's go ahead and throw in, what is the percentage we should use about is it 6% or something like that of fake votes or whatever, which is a big number. I think it's 3 to 10% is going to be fake votes. Like just people voting because they hate Apple. You know what I'm saying? Which is, they're always going to be there. So even if you take off about 10%, you still have a very lopsided view on people actually liking or showing true interest in the upcoming iPhones. I just think people are genuinely keeping their products. Even just because I buy tech and review it, I'm starting to be like, man, I don't want to get rid of this, man. I paid a lot of money for this. I don't want to just trade it in just because something new is coming out. I don't want to do it. I shouldn't have to do that. So BW1, shout out to BW1. He's always here. And he said, I think this is a reflection of where consumers' interest is in smartphones. And reality is, most consumers, their interest is going to be there. But I think a lot of consumers are probably waking up. They're probably like, my phone works. I don't have to buy this new phone that Apple just said just because it's new. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do it. I can just keep this phone. It works. Because when you go, and this is why I don't like any of my family members to go into cell phone stores. The people, and I don't like any of my siblings to go into cell phone stores alone. And if they do go in to buy something, I tell them, call me on the phone. Call me on the phone. I have older brothers and older sisters all the way up to 80 years old. My oldest brother is 80, turning 80, I believe. And I'm the youngest of everybody. So they know I'm doing tech. And so I don't want them to go into those stores alone, because they're going to try to play them. They see elderly people and they think, oh my gosh, we definitely can get a sale out of them. It's just not right. They genuinely take advantage of people when they go into cell phone stores and try to sell them things that they don't need. That's a horrible salesperson. So the fact that consumers, I think, are waking up is something that we actually need to happen. Some people think Apple's at the top. It still kind of shocks me that people place companies, not just Apple. We're not going to just crap all over Apple. People place companies high up on these pedestals like they work for them or they're stockholders. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of these tech enthusiasts are not. They're just people who like a product or feel like they sent me this, so I'm going to praise them just because, or whatever their reasoning is. If you're not a shareholder, or you don't have stock in it, and you don't have enough stock, or you don't have anything that's making this company beneficial to you, why promote them so much? People place Apple like they're the true innovators, but like I said, I think the true innovators are the people who are taking the risks. Even if you think it fails, it's still something that Apple has yet to do. Tell me the last time Apple has innovated. When was it? I'll wait on this one.
That'll be interesting, huh?
I'm curious. The comments will come in. Someone's going to tell me how they feel Apple has innovated, and it's not like a put down. I don't think Apple has innovated at all since they transitioned to a new stock. I think the last piece of good hardware they did for innovation was the iPhone, when they switched to the iPhone 5s. Remember they switched to the iPhone 5s? That was some of the best hardware that they put out. And then all they did now, current day, is giving us an iPhone 5 with a glass. That's all they did. But when's the last time Apple innovated? Until then, let's read Tom's comment. Tom says, if you're interested in phones, you're likely to have something more interesting, like Samsung Flip or Fold. But most people just don't care enough, I think. And I totally agree. I think what I think a lot of content creators get wrapped up in is they're not in touch with reality. I'll say it. I don't think a lot of content creators are in touch with reality. Reason being is, and I'll be nice and call them content creators because we had a roundtable. I don't think a lot of these people like what I have to say about them. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think a lot of people on YouTube are in touch with reality when it comes to think about real consumers. There's no way that you can keep a straight face and tell a consumer to go out and spend $5,000 on something that they just don't need. Like, case in point, some people kind of laughed at me when I told people, if you want an iPhone or an iPad or something like that, get a Mac Mini. If you want iMessenger or FaceTime, get a Mac Mini. Some people kind of laughed at that, but I'm trying to save consumers money. You don't do what I do; you do what I say. I would not want to mislead consumers into thinking that you have to get the new 24-inch iMac. Why do you need that? The smart purchase, and every company gives you an out. You just have to take it. Apple gives you an out with the Mac Mini. The Mac Mini is the best way to use an Apple computer. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, but if it's coming down to it, that is your only way into the Apple ecosystem to save money. The rest of that is pure nonsense from a bunch of people who probably didn't buy the really expensive product, or they just think that this is reality when it's really not. Because if it was, we'd all be in the same tax bracket. And we're not. How comfortably can you tell a person to buy that new MacBook or that new whatever for a whole bunch of money when they can get something else that's a lot less that does more technically and it'll perform better? How do you do that? How do you do it? Here's a comment from
You gonna read Tom's?
Yeah, I'm going down the list. I just read Tom's already. He's got another comment.
They don't necessarily innovate.
Okay. I see it. I see it down there. I want to get to some of these other comments. I'm buying an iPhone 13 because my main phone is showing wear and tear. My main phone needs to just work. Congratulations on your new device. iPhones have been the same for the last 4 years, in his opinion. The iPhone 10 is when he feels like this person feels like the iPhone actually innovated. Software updates. Red says. BW1 says they don't. They don't. They have money and resources to wait for someone else to try, and then after it matures, take it in for themselves. This has got to be one of the most legitimate. That is one of the most legitimate comments. We have all made this comment before, but people just don't want to hear it. I've said it before, and I'm going to patent this. People don't want the truth. They want to be entertained first. That is why we have so many people on YouTube that present themselves a certain way to get out in front the way they have. But this has got to be one of the most legit comments that I totally agree with. I mean, I've said this before. I'm sure he's probably said it 1,000 times. And it's not to rag on Apple. That is not what it's about. I prefer to try to keep people as aware as possible when it comes to technology. A lot of people are spending money they don't need to spend. The majority is the regular people. The tech community is like, 0.1%? It's a small percentage of people, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Down here with Tom, you say, is this one Apple? Apple doesn't necessarily innovate. They take what's good and improve to make it better. But see, who says they're doing it better, Tom? Who says they're doing it better? They're just taking the same. I predict that this is Apple's folding phone. You're getting first look on Jay Williams' channel of Apple's first folding device. And here it is right here. This is Apple's first folding device. A device that looks like this. Apple is too afraid to take risks. They don't take risks. But I think a lot of consumers are brainwashed into believing that Apple is doing something so great because they're waiting. No. You remember what Steve Jobs said in that interview, right? For all you Steve Jobs fans out there, people love to say, well, Steve Jobs is rolling over in his grave. Listen, Steve Jobs was not a miracle worker. You know, he was with a company who just happened to get to a certain point. That's it. There's a whole bunch of great people out there. Steve Jobs was just Steve Jobs. He was just a guy who was in the right place at the right time. Period. Do you guys call Mark Zuckerberg great? Probably not. He was a guy in the right place at the right time. And that was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is gone, though, so I think people should really let that go. If Steve Jobs was still alive, Apple would not have moved in a direction like this. He wouldn't have buckled to it. He was totally against everything that Apple is doing right now. Do you guys not remember? Steve Jobs was against everything. He was the CEO. He was like John Ledger from T-Mobile. He was a clown like that. He would clown publicly like that. Do you guys not remember how Steve Jobs was on the stage? He clowned around and called people out in live events. Tim Cook doesn't do that. Tim Cook doesn't do that. I said Tim Cookie. Tim Cookie doesn't do. Tim Cook is the same. He doesn't do that. Apple and innovation in the same sentence to me just don't go together. They don't go together. John Evans. Let me see here. BW1 says there's a few who really connect with the average consumer. Falsey Carter is one of them. For example, for a large scale. Then BW1 goes on to say most tech YouTube is tech entertainment. I'll stop there because I can go. Listen, I have said this 1,000 times. I don't fall into the same category, and I don't feel special. I just know that after meeting several creators, and shout out to my man Floss, we have kicked it on several different occasions in New York at events and stuff like that. To be in touch with a regular person takes a special kind of person. That's what I say. And I truly believe that how old you are plays a part in how you're creating content. It really does. That's just a thing. What's important to somebody of a certain age group is not going to be important to somebody of a different age group. This is a fact. And it boils all the way back down to tech entertainment, because that's exactly what it is. Companies now today on YouTube would rather put a young, vibrant faced 20-year-old cat on the screen because why? They want to connect with the youth. They feel like they're the ones that are going to spend the money. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's who they're gonna cater to.
That's why you see a lot of creators now that are, these guys are 30 or younger. Most of these guys are 30 or younger. I don't know how old Soldier Knows Best is, but I met Soldier Knows Best. I met him in person before. Great. This dude is cool as a fan, man. He's a good guy. But I think he's still in his 30s. I'm sure he's in his 30s. I just feel like a lot of things, if I was a company, I don't know that I would do anything different, but this is just to keep people aware. That's all it is. It's just keep people aware. I just think that companies now want a certain face out front, and it's okay to be that way. There's nothing wrong with good advertising and marketing because you know who you want to target. But today's market, people used to say about iPhones, oh, it's for young people. That's totally not true. You and I both know that is not true. All ages use iPhones. That was the first little set of things and rules people put out there that only people who want iPhones are young people. Anybody still think that's true? I never thought that was true. because I saw all ages using iPhones. Yeah.
Yeah, I see little kids using iPhones.
Baby. Yeah, my grandkids use an iPhone. It's incredible. They're little. Do we really want a folding iPhone though? I would say I would like a folding iPhone and a folding iPad. I think that Samsung has the best iteration of a folding device for like current day phones. Companies should mimic this phone right here. The Z Flip 3, companies should mimic this phone because this is an easy transition um, from a regular bar style phone to a flip phone. People will be faster to switch to this than they would the Fold 3, I think. Because you're not going to be able to sell a lot of people on giving up their iPad. If we're being honest, most people have an iPad, and then they have an Android phone or whatever other phone they have. Some people think that all tablets are iPads. I was talking to one of my older sisters, and she kept saying, "Let me use your iPad." I said, "I don't. That's not an iPad. That's an Android tablet." And she's a retired older person, and she's convinced that this tablet is an iPad. It was frustrating listening to her say this. Nothing against Apple, but I was like, "Listen, sis, God dog it, this is not an iPad." Everything, and she listen, and to be clear, this is one of my sisters who's been with Verizon for 25, 30 years. She still uses a flip phone in 2021. She still has a landline in 2021. She knows hardly nothing about tech, but she somehow seems to think that every tablet is a freaking iPad. I'm like, sis, stop saying that. That is not an iPad. It's not an iPad. That to me is that great. Those commercials that pop up when people are watching TV. That is where it starts. Goes in through these things, and you start to get circling around, and you start to get people to think that everything is the same. Great marketing.
They got them brainwashed, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
Here's one from Trent's Tech. He said the last innovation was the first iPhone. It opened the door to change the industry of phones. So Soldier's in his late 30s. Okay, yeah. I knew he was in his 30s. I met him probably about 6, 7 years ago. I don't know how long it was when I kicked it with him at that Samsung event. I got to read this. Here's a news flash. All the 20-somethings don't have jack to spin anymore. I guess he's talking about the age, the 20-year-olds. Not all, probably a lot of 20-year-olds, but I just think it's, if you're not budgeting your money these days, 20-year-olds today have it a lot worse, right, Anthony? They have it a lot worse. People,
yeah.
What was the age group? Is it people under 30, people 40 and under? They're a part of this tech age where they got to have everything fast, and it's all technology for them. They grew up in the technology part, you know what I'm saying? So they don't know about analog things and rotary phones and when TVs didn't exist. We know this, but
transistor radios.
Exactly. Well, it was such an exciting thing. Boy, you have no idea. We were just outside all day. But I think, unfortunately, the people today have this thing with social media, and they have a lot of pressure on them, and it's unfortunate. So maybe there are a lot of 20-year-olds out there that don't have money. That's bad. Yeah. Trent says, companies care about reach and presentation. If you align with their marketing, they will work for you. And that's a legitimate statement. Shout out to the UK. I appreciate you coming through. This is something that people say, and I just don't believe it. The ecosystem is what keeps Apple users with Apple, and people don't like to change. I don't believe that to be true, because here's something that people should know if you don't know it by now. Google's products work fantastic on Apple products. Gmail, Duo, Hangouts, all these things work flawlessly on Apple products. So I think it's a matter of perspective. I'm not saying you're wrong, Tom. You're not wrong. There's no wrong answers. It's just conversation. Smartphoneconversations.com. That's the plug. There's no wrong. It's a conversation. And I do not believe that the ecosystem is so great at this point, because There are plenty of other ecosystems out there. But again, like I just gave the example of one of my older sisters saying that it was an iPad. I'm thinking, sis, God dang it, it is not a freaking iPad. Stop saying that. It's about what you see repeatedly. And I think that a lot of people who buy Apple products are totally convinced that Apple has the best ecosystem. Listen, you are not wrong if you think that. I have all the different ecosystems. Apple is at the bottom of my list. I only have an iPhone because if I'm moving about, if I'm traveling or something like that, I feel like somebody's going to FaceTime me, granddaughter might FaceTime. It could be anything. I might carry that phone too. iPhones are not bad. They're fantastic devices. However, they do not, in my personal opinion, from extended use, have the best ecosystem. Argument, a person will say, well, who has the best ecosystem? That's totally subjective. Some people only tell that to an Android person who only uses Android. Have you not used Duo and RCS messaging on Android? It is phenomenal. But people don't want to hear that. They just want to hear that iMessage and FaceTime are the best because Apple said so. But it's not.
Well, but then again, most people don't know that there are other ecosystems that exist outside of the Apple ecosystem. They don't know that exists. Just like your sister who continuously calls your tablet an iPad. They don't think anything else exists. You know, my oldest son uses a Samsung tablet, and he loves it. And I told him about the Apple products. When he says he doesn't want anything to do with it. He gets everything he wants from what he uses. He knows that exists, but there's the majority that don't understand that there's a whole world of ecosystems out there. They're just stuck on that, and they don't want to take off their blinds.
You're not wrong either. You're not wrong. There's no wrong answers. It's just conversation.
The answer on what's the best ecosystem is whatever ecosystem you're running. If it works for you, great.
Exactly. Whatever is working for you, because I can guarantee you, without all the childish name calling and bickering, if you can get some mature people to sit at a table, one side is Windows, one side is iOS, the other side is Android, and then so on and so on. Get a mature group of people, they're all going to be able to point out, because Microsoft Teams, folks, let me tell you, it's fantastic. But you'll get a group of people who are actually mature enough to hold a conversation. You'll get some legitimate answers on why they feel that ecosystem is the best. And again, neither one of them are going to be wrong. It's just about what's working for them. And unfortunately, Apple chooses to spend more money, and I say unfortunately too, I say that intentionally because they seem to have gotten to the point where that's what people mutter this out is, oh, why do you like the iPhone? Because it's the best. I mean, but they think I'm trying to prove them wrong or something like, but why do you think FaceTime is the best? It's just the best. Well, let me show you something. On this application called Duo, you can actually send a video message without even doing anything, or you can send a message straight through, or you can call and do a pre-screening message. There's so many things that Duo can do that FaceTime can't do. But is it up to me to market that for them? Absolutely not. If I'm talking about it at the moment, then I'm talking about it. But I'm not going to sit up here and market all of Google's products for them if they don't do it. It's up to Google to market how great their products are. Google is a huge company. And if they choose to market things better, or not better, more, then you'll start to see people saying, yeah, man, Duo is amazing. It just happens like that. Apple is doing a lot of commercials. They do a lot of marketing, and that's just what it is. Google's ecosystem is fantastic. Windows has phone to PC, phone to tablet. They have all these things just like FaceTime and iMessage, but people don't use them. Google has it too. I can message from my Google Pixel book. I can send text messages from my book. It's not like this is magic or something like that, but people don't know that, or they don't want to hear it because the marketing for that product or this product is just not really there.
Yeah.
So Apple wins, if you will, in that department. They're willing to chunk out a bunch of cash to get people to buy more.
Yeah. No, agreed.
I see some. I need to scroll back here. Android stud. I see you, man. Here we go. iPhone users are just used to using iOS. Everything else is foreign to them. Apple's hardware is top notch. iOS, on the other hand, okay, that's how you feel. Cool. The larger YouTubers are just extensions of companies' marketing department. I kind of agree with that. When you say larger, I know you're talking about subscriber count, because large and big is a state of mind, I say, because if I'm being honest, there's a lot of people with millions of subs that have no talent. And I've said that before. And if they ever wanted me to tell them face to face, so we could have a sit down, and I would tell them, I don't think you're very talented at all. I think you're just, like this person said, an extension and a tap dancer because you want the next thing. Anybody who I see giving away 100 of something because of a marketing deal or something like that, respect. It's not about the person not liking the larger creators, if you want to use that terminology, because I've met probably all of them in person, and the majority of them are fantastic people. But what I've learned to do over the years of being on YouTube, because I've been on YouTube for 16 years, I've learned to differentiate things for taking things personal. Like, I don't personally dislike a lot of the people who have millions of subs, because I choose to continue to operate independently, which means that I don't answer to anybody. So anything you see on this channel, if there's a marketing deal, I sat in this office and took care of it myself. I don't have a team doing it for me. So the creators out there, for those that do have all that, and I've seen these people in action, and I'm like, wow, yeah, all these people working for you. But for those creators out there who are grinding hard like that, I respect them. I'm happy that they're making those moves, and I'm happy if they're genuinely happy with what they're doing. But I personally just can't present myself on camera one way just to get your click or your money or your. I refuse to do it. So, but the creators who do that, hey, if that's what they choose to do, then hey, I don't feel any type of way about them, I guess, like personally, because to them, it's just a job. I mean, Anthony, what do you say to somebody, some young 20-year-old cat, 30-year-old cat, who's making $65,000 a month because he's willing to grind and do certain things you don't want to do? Are you going to crap all over that person? Or are you just going to be like, hey, if that's what you choose to do, that's what I would do. What do you say to those guys?
I don't know. I do things my way. I don't have a team either, but you know what? If you've worked your way up to that, I would just hope that you would keep the integrity of where it began. If it's just for the clicks, if it's just for the, your heart set in the wrong place, there's no respect for that, in my opinion. But I think if you're grinding and you work your way up, kudos to you. I just hope you never lose the mindset of where it all came from. Some of those guys out there I respect. Some of them I don't like their style. I don't like what I followed some of these guys from when I first started watching YouTube, and I've seen the growth, and I don't like the growth. And I've seen some where they started out and then got further, and they're still somewhat the same. So I for me, I'm never. I don't think I'll ever get there. But the one thing I never want to lose is the integrity I have and the rawness, and remembering how I get here and how I'm getting there. So that's how I see it. So I don't know.
I think a lot of times when you see big cell phone launches, Apple's going to have a big. I mean, all the launches this year, of all the launches that are coming, and all the launches that are going to close out the rest of this year, and the ones that have already come so far, the one that's been the most exciting for me has got to have. It has to have been the launch when Google decided to go ahead and put out the 6 and the 6 Pro. Those are exciting to me because it's something actually new. I just think that's exciting to me. But Apple's launch, and I think the reason we're seeing numbers like I just think that people are just deciding, you know what, this phone's going to be the same. What is it that I'm supposed to be getting that's different now? I think people are genuinely starting to figure out, I really don't need to do this.
Yeah.
I don't need to. But as long we're gonna always have a group of people who are gonna buy regardless, and that's why the title of this live stream is super honest. Am I interested in the iPhone 13? Not really. I'm buying it because it's a YouTube thing. For me, it is. Now I'm going to use the iPhone 13. I'm only buying one this year for myself personally. I normally buy all three, but I'm only going to buy one. I'm going to buy the 13, like the same size or whatever. And I don't plan on giving up my 12. My 12 is good. And then after I use that 13 for a while, maybe I'll put it into rotation every now and then, but probably not give it to one of my children or something. Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see the need, or pass on the 12 to them and then I keep the 13. Whatever. It doesn't matter. When it comes to the marketing, though, I think, let me back up to Android Stud's comment, because this is a comment that people use. Ain't nothing against Android Stud, but this is something I truly get tired of hearing people say. People just like different stuff. It's okay. Get what you like. This is such a cliche of a comment. And it's almost like, now again, this isn't to Android Stud. We rock with each other. But this is such a weak comment to me when people try to use this in an argument format. They have nothing else to say. And that's not what he's doing. He's just saying in general, hey, you like what you like, but I don't like this comment because the reason why is this is something we already know. We know people are going to buy what they like, but this is in response to Apple's marketing. This is where I feel like Apple genuinely has people tricked. They really do. How in the world could you possibly upgrade your iPhone every year and turn in a perfectly good iPhone as a normal consumer? That is where comments like this fall in line. Well, people just like different stuff. Stop right there. That is obvious. Is it not, Anthony? It's obvious that people like different things, right?
I'll tell you this. If I wasn't doing YouTube, after the first couple times that I used an iPhone and realized I'm just getting that same experience, I probably never would have gone back to an iPhone and just picked up an Android device. And most likely I'd probably be rocking a Google device, a Pixel device. So that's, yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think if you're going to stay with the phone for a while, I can see the intrigue on wanting to switch up Android phones from different companies. But if you're going to,
there's actually options, There's options with Android.
Then get yourself an iPhone.
Right.
Great experience. It's going to be flawless. You're going to have great cameras. You're going to have what you want. There's no reason to get rid of it.
Right.
There's no reason to like you just said, there's no reason to keep switching up onto the same basic experience.
But to be fair, one could say the same thing about Android. You could, if you're staying within the same company. However, with Android, this is where they have the advantage because they actually have options. You could switch OEMs and get a completely different looking Android device and a completely different style. Some have skins, some don't. You can just get a completely different looking, feeling, performing device. But the downside of that is that it's open source, and so that's where.
You can switch up the launchers. You could. There's so much. You can become very artistic with Android devices, and it's fun.
Yeah. So Andrew follows up and says, my comment was based on people who like iPhones or people who like Androids, not on someone who's going to get iPhone 13 or the whole difference of all. Okay, yeah, I got you. But that comment is frequently used, Android Stud. It's frequently used by people to end a conversation. Like, look in our chat, Android Stud. You can see that certain things are said to end a conversation because they might not have any other response. And I just feel like these are obvious statements, but when you try to dig deeper, some people have no response or they cannot articulate what they really feel, or they might be afraid to for backlash or something like that. This is true. Some people will get on YouTube and they won't really say what they really feel. Case in point.
I'll tell you, backlash makes for good conversation.
It does. Case in point, this device right here. Now, I have picked apart this device and called out bad things on it, right? This is the Pixel 5a 5G. Case in point still. Well, you're not being hard enough on it because Google sent it to you. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. How about I use this thing called tact when I'm doing a video on something? You don't have to get on video and say, this is trash. I personally feel like when you do that, you're not presenting yourself in a way. If I was the OEM, I wouldn't want to have you representing me, because to me that just means, did you really put any thought into to that? Another one is the Z Flip 3. I've seen people say how bad this battery is. Even I have said, wow, it lasts me all day, but it's still, I'm only getting like 4 hours, maybe 5.5 hours of screen on time. I got a new video coming out on how you can pull tons of battery out of this device. Already, I've seen people say, nah, I'm not making any changes to my device. I'm just going to leave it as is because I don't want to do this. You're perfectly fine with doing that. But if someone is trying to give you a resolution, why not take it? If you can find a reason to correct something that's hurting you, why not fix it? Is it that you're just content with being grumpy about it and you want to have something to talk about that is negative or comes across as a negative? Or do you not want growth? Listen, let's be clear here. This Z Flip 3 does not have the strongest battery for standby time. But I don't measure my phone on screen on time when I'm for personal use. I only call out those numbers because that's what people on YouTube, that's how they're programmed to think about their battery life. Oh, you got 7 hours of screen on time, so you got the best battery. You got 7 hours of screen on time with 12 hours of use. That is not the best battery. 2 days of battery with 4 hours of screen on time is fantastic battery, is it not?
Agreed.
What would you rather have? 12 hours of battery with 13 hours of use, or 2 days of battery or 3 days of battery with 3.5 hours of use? Usage isn't just sitting down on the device straight for 3.5 hours. you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Anthony. I cut you off.
Oh, no. I agree. And I've really been looking at it the other way around for too long. And it finally makes more sense that when I'm using my device, when I'm needing to use it, or I'm using it leisurely, and it's not that often during the day because I got other things to do, because I do have a regular life. I'm a husband,
Yes.
I'm a worker. And then I look and I see, oh my gosh, I've only had the screen on for 3 hours, but it's been off the charger for like 18 or 19 hours.
Yes.
That's really what I need to be reporting. And I think that I'm going to start doing that in the videos where I highlight the unplug and when I plug back in, not so much that screen on time. I'll make sure I edit in some circles around those areas in my videos to understand really what you should be looking at.
Yeah. That's so true.
It just makes the most logical sense. And it took me this long to finally kind of go, oh, wait.
Yeah. It clicked with me too. I used to measure by screen on time, but I thought, you know what? I'm not a follower. I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. I'm not going to do this just because they said this is the way you measure screen on time. And like BW1 said, this is the stupidest thing that has ever come into that community, forcing people to believe that the way you measure your usage on a device is by the screen on time. That's just totally not true, because I do hours and hours of phone calls and my screen is off. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I left my screen lit up during the phone calls, it would look like I got 20 hours of screen on time. You see what I'm saying? So I keep the phone screen off and facing down and turned away when I'm on a call. I talk on the phone a lot more than internet and text.
That's where it's sort of it's deception in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little deceiving when you use that, because like you said, well, I can purposely just leave this on. If it gives me a 30-minute option to leave my display on 30, I could just leave the 30 and sit there like that. Well, that's going to towards that screen on time, and that's actually cheating.
Exactly. It's not because the way that they do the screen on time for like GSM Arena and places like that, they just loop a video until the phone dies. Is that real world testing? Of course it's not. No one's sitting on their phone for 17 hours straight or 10 hours straight waiting for the battery to die.
And you know what?
What would happen is if you're on a road trip. You're on a road trip in the car and you have no other way to entertain yourself, you're probably going to go ahead and watch a video or several movies. And then but you're really using it though.
Yeah. You know what really, really bothers me, and I don't know if anybody else is the same or if it's just me. When I hear this real world use, so you're telling me you weren't giving me that before? You know, real world use should be every day from the moment you start using that device.
But
So you were you faking it before and now you decided to give me something legit? No, you get up, you use the device. It's my reviewing process. When I tell people during my reviewing process that I use heavier, what that means is that I'm taking more pictures, shooting more video to give you guys to go off something to show you what the device do. After the reviewing process, a lot of that goes away because now I'm just using it. That's still real world use because I'm giving you legitimate information. I'm not, because just to show you what this device can do. And then after that, I go into the after reviewing process, real world use. It's all real world. You know, I don't know if there's any cheating going on out there to make it look more like this or that.
yeah,
Saying to highlight an area where it doesn't really need to be highlighted, to throw information out there to just, I don't know, to sell these devices.
right,
I'm just giving you what it does, and I'm taking
right,
a period of time to really push that information out there, but it's still real world use. So I
right.
don't like that title because all of it should be real.
Exactly.
It doesn't
Why do you
sound
why do
when
you
I
think
see
Apple added this screen on time? Why did Apple even do that? They never measure screen on time. Why did they do that in that last update a while back? What was the purpose of adding this? It's super confusing to me compared to the way Android does it. Why even put this on here for screen time? What's the purpose of it? I don't get it. Why do we need Apple to put that in there? I don't think they needed to.
yeah.
I think they might have done it just because Android was doing it. And they probably feel like we'll give it a nice, clean, fancy look. And this was what people wanted. But I think BW1's comment this is obviously a fact. It's totally subjective based on way too many things. One of the number one things that will cause you to have bad battery life is your cell phone service. If you're in a place, I know some people that have no Wi-Fi at all throughout their entire day, and they rely heavily on their cell phone network. And if they have poor network, that equates to poor battery. It's not just about the applications. If you have a bad cell phone signal, your battery is going to drain so quick because your phone is going to continuously search for signal. So that falls under that subjective area right there. Also, the applications that you have. For those that have been following me over the years, you know that I only put applications on my device that I'm actually going to use. Why put them on there? Take them off if you're not going to use them because it just uses resources at some point or another.
Yeah.
Turn off notifications if you're not using that device. Not every device needs a notification or application. Not every application needs a notification. But
Right.
by default, a lot of applications are turned on for notifications, especially when you first get your phone. You need to go in there and take the time and turn that stuff off. That's what you
Yeah.
need to do.
Yeah. If
Let
you're
me take.
gonna use
Go ahead.
if
I'm gonna step off and take.
you're gonna use everything, then great. But if you're not using it, turn it up. Set a time limit on it, and it will definitely help your battery life out. You guys all know this, but yeah, I love to use everything that I can, but if I'm not using it, I turn it off. Whether it's helping my battery life or not, I don't necessarily know because I don't necessarily check all the time either. I just like to unplug, put it in my pocket, and go through my day. And hey, if I need to charge it up a little bit, throw it. I throw I plug it up in my car and 15, 20 minutes and whatever. I really try not to overreact with these areas. But I also do the best that I can in utilizing my device to work for me in every area possible. But I just don't turn off everything just to turn it off. But if I'm definitely not going to use it, then I turn it off.
I agree. I think that's one of the biggest. We're going to wrap up here, man. I think that's one of the very informative today, man. I love the conversation. Love it. That's what it's all about. Have fun chatting about these different things, and we keep it moving. So right now, if you're just joining in, I highly recommend you catch the replay if you haven't already done so. I appreciate everyone coming through. And I highly appreciate you guys that are stopping by. Every Tuesday, you can catch us right here talking about the latest topics or whatever we talk about at the time. And next week, obviously, we'll have to continue this conversation because on the 14th, it is Apple's event. Let me see. The 14th is on Tuesday. So I think the 14th is on Tuesday, right? Yes, it is. The 14th is Tuesday. So it is Apple's event. So we'll continue that. I've got a lot of phones that I got to cover. I got some new phones in. I got my iPhone 13 stuff already here. I've got some other footage coming. Huh?
I got a skin I got to do a review on. No, you can't.
I was going to ask you what you had coming up next.
You got to watch.
Tell them what you have coming up next, and then I'll close out.
Yeah, I got a skin install review for my LG Flex.
Oh Lord.
My Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3, and be looking for a couple of case videos that I'm going to be getting out today. And really, that's about it. Thank you for coming on by. Appreciate it. Super stoked that you're all here and you give me a chance to just throw down some thoughts and that a lot of you already know. You know, it's just you're letting me talk, and I appreciate that. Check me out over at Twitter at Anthony 1368. If I said that, hopefully I said that right. Here on YouTube. But yeah, till next Tuesday. God bless you all. Stay safe and healthy.
And I have some new gear. For those who know, I'm officially a G. So you'll see that footage coming up. Hopefully I'll put it out tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But I've got more coverage coming on. I just posted my updated review on the Pixel 5a 5G. I got a new video coming out on the Z Flip 3 to help you guys with battery life. That is a question. I got some simple things I've done to extend my battery life by a whole bunch. I got a bunch of content on cases and phones, obviously. Got some more Bluetooths that are in. Some of the stuff I've had it for a long time. I try to pace myself on putting this stuff out because I have a family. I have a life. I like to sit on my back patio and relax and watch TV and do normal people stuff. So I have got a lot coming your way, and I appreciate you guys joining us Tuesday. Be here next Tuesday. Maybe we can get some guests on. BW1, you got to come on, man. I love to have you on, man.
Great.
I think Barry Johnson, what's going on, man? We got to get some of these guys on this stream with us, man. I appreciate you guys stopping by. And we're going to keep this train moving for sure. So let's pick a different outro sound this time. Let's try something different. I always pick that same one. Let's switch it up this time. What are we going to choose here? Let's see. Let's play some. I always play like a 30, 45-second outro. Let's try. This is a weird looking one. Let's try this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Next Tuesday, we'll be here.